Are we live? We see a yo out there in Happy Land if we're live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever, whenever, and whoever you may be. This is the Live Drive Jive Archive with your host, Frank Monday. Yay! All right, looks like there's somebody out there in Happy Land this morning. It is 6:29 on the big digital clock as we roll north along the 3rd Ring Road at, I think this is Liangmaqiao. I always want to think it's Liangmaqiao. There's the Westin. There's the Fortune Plaza. No, that isn't Fortune Plaza. What am I thinking? I don't know what. We got disconnected. Later. Anybody out there in Happy Land? Give me a yo if you could see me. Come on. See some yos out there in Happy Land. We have got heavy AI on the roads this morning. Assholes and idiots just clogging up the fucking pathways. I mean, I don't know what they're doing first thing in the morning, getting out onto the highway and just rolling like they're not even awake yet. Probably eating a fucking donut. I just don't know. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Just get on up out the way, bitch. Get on up out the way. I said, move your happy ass up out my way, bitch. Move it and groove it and strut and what? And stroll into the tune. Hey, Paul's out there. Hello, Paul. Good morning. Good evening. Good afternoon. Wherever and whenever you may be. Welcome to the Live Drive Jive Archive. I'm your host, Frank Monday. Broadcasting out of the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, Twilight Zone Old Peking. Projecting out across the ether like a telepathic transmission generated by a crystal pyramidion at the top of an ancient megalithic structure. Where you must leave behind the ordinary, dead thinking of puerile, three-dimensional logic. Because here, only non-Euclidean, living, spiritual logic need apply. I got a really good comment from Chris A. yesterday on my Live Drive Jive Archive Part 2. So you ought to get back in there and check it out if you haven't seen it already. Chris A. gave like a small dissertation, a 2-paragraph interpolation of my commentary on Rudolf Steiner, and he really added value to the conversation of spiritual thinking versus logical, rational, intellectual dichotomy. I mean, they got to work together at some point. The inspiration creates motivation, awakening the body and mind and spirit. It says I got 2 people out in the ideas room. Today is Wednesday. Yesterday I got kind of thrown off because my wife wanted to go look at a new car. We're thinking about buying a Volkswagen. It's a German car company, and they make an SUV. I guess it's got a 3-liter engine, 2.7, something like that. But it's an all-wheel drive kind of SUV style. Yo, yeah, I see the yos out in Happy Land. Good morning. Hello out there, little fish. Update us on our auspices for today's zodiacal alignments. I know the sun is in Sagittarius, and I'm thinking the moon is in Capricorn. I may be wrong on that, but it seems like it's the second day of Capricorn, which means next it will be moving into Aquarius. Or have we already moved into Aquarius? Hey, Anthony's out there too. How's it going, Anthony? I heard that the whole thing is falling apart, that the folks that got all the jibber jabs are not immune to the new, more transmissible but less troublesome David Bowie version of the mysterious boogeyman. So from what I understand, it's all coming down the line, and now it's switching from a pandemic class variant into an endemic regular seasonal cold and flu season variety, just like a rhino or what's the other big one? The swine thingy, the pig one. So now we got pig, rhino, monkey, and bat. We have added the bat to the list of mysterious boogeymen. And it's interesting too, because I had just, right before the whole bat shit soup boogeyman came on the scene, I had written a piece of poetry. It's actually a piece of poetry that I wrote back in like 2003 or 2004 for the SARS variant, for the first one, round one. And so it's a poem in Chinese, but it was inspired by bats in my courtyard. So I was out doing Kung Fu early morning, and the bats would come out at the time of the gloaming. So as the sun would start to change from deep Stygian midnight dark skies into starting to, the color shift. I believe it's called the gloaming, when the sun starts to come up in the morning. Not sunrise, but just when there's a shift from dark color to a lighter color, like what's happening right now. Anyway, that's when the bats would come out and hunt. And so my courtyard every morning here in Beijing would be filled with bats. And I'd be out there doing my, my Kung Fu, waving my sword around and stuff. And so I wrote a 12 by 12 section piece of poetry in the Tang style, and the opening verse received some recognition on the internet. And so back then there was a club, QQ Clubs, which was like the ICQ, the early 2000s, the early aughts. And my poetry got seen by like 50 million Chinese folks that were, into literature. So a pretty big deal for the Chinese systems, which just don't compare. I mean, you could be super popular on Chinese platforms. The thing is, I use my Chinese name on my Chinese platforms because I don't want a direct connection between my Western media stuff and my Chinese media stuff, because you can only imagine, right? The social credit score. My social credit score would be in the fucking gutter if anybody once the AI makes the connection between. Anyway, I don't want to give them too much intel. So what's the point of this story? Oh, so I had reproduced that poem for my YouTube channel, just for a small segment, and had my son read it, and it talks about bats filling the sky, and following the Tao and stuff, you know, so on and so forth. But right after that, they're like, oh, it's the batshit soup that did it all. And I was like, how coincidental. I mean, is that somehow related to my magic? Did I evoke some terrible situation for the world based on the fact that I wrote a poem about bats? But no, they're just running some sort of, you know, BS. My poetry's more valuable than their, you know, somebody ate a fucking bat. And that's where Anthony was looking for a good cover story. And so he chose to plagiarize my poem and make it into a pandemic. A plandemic. Wow. This is a really big cargo vehicle in front of me right now. He's got the tonnage. How you guys doing out there in Happy Land this morning? Sadly, I can't read the chat, so I just gotta fucking spin the web, the mumbo jumbo. So with the jibber jab not working and the Omicron being endemic, is that what it's called? Then it's game over, right? They have to, they're grasping at straws. They're like, oh no, we can't give up all the emergency power that we seized. Oh, come on, seriously, man? Fuck. You guys drive like you got your head straight up your ass. Not you guys out there in Happy Land. I'm sure that all of you guys drive extremely civilized and polite with a high level of sophistication and roadside etiquette. So it's the 5th day of the 11th lunar month in the 5,763rd year of the Yellow Emperor's reign. We're going way back now to, I don't know, what was it? 3000 BC, when the Chinese explored the entire planet. And maybe they were Celts. You know, maybe what we know as the Chinese today were actually the ancient Celtics. And they had huge platforms, floating pontoons, this double the size of an American football field, floating all over the planet, spreading their culture, building ancient Antiquitech Tartarian buildings. That was the program yesterday on C2C, right? And that girl's story is nothing new, man. I've been thinking about that and talking about that for 20 years. I don't talk about it regularly. I mean, what are you gonna do? We've got full, 10-hour length documentaries on that situation, where they created a lot of those maps of the ancient world. The thing is, they don't admit that it was red-haired, blue-eyed Celts that was probably the ones that were doing it. Because everything gets reset. You guys know about all that. Mud floods and resets. I mean, we're right in the throes of a reset right now. They're trying to orchestrate a big theatrical reset. The Dark Celestials. They just love having control over the narrative. I'm suspicious that Anthony's working for the Dark Celestials. He didn't come off as a big asshat the way he does when he types, though. I don't think you're gonna get your bonus, Anthony, because you didn't convince anybody that the jibber jab was the way to go. That getting the needle craft was all that important. If anything, I think you probably convinced folks that the opposite is true, that it's really unnecessary. Superfluous is what it is. It's decadent, you know. I saw that one actor that played Wolverine in the Marvel series. What's that guy's name? Jack something? Jack Human? Is that his name? Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, I saw him rolling up his sleeve and he's like, I'm getting my 5th booster. And he's all proud of it. And I thought, what a fucking shill and an asshat and a sellout. What an absolute cockbag. Just a fucking burlap sack full of dried up, moldy cock tips. That's what that guy is. I mean, to be proud of that, to be a proud prostitute and bitch for Big Pharma, it's like, come on, man, you got better sense than that. But he's a sellout, you know. He's an Australian guy, and he's got to toe the line, you know, and get on his fucking knees like a slave and be like, look, I'll let them stick any needle in me they want. I'll even take a 10-inch black dildo up the butt, you know, because he gets paid. I mean, Jesus, if I was getting the kind of money that he gets and private flights all over the world to, you know, perform in a movie, seriously, that's what these guys get all that money for? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So anyway, he's got zero respect. I'll never watch another one of his movies. But that's the thing anyway. It's like nobody's watching any of their movies anyway. They're tuning in to be able to interact with real living people. They don't want to just watch some Hollywood sellouts on big sets and fake shit and get programmed into a dystopian mindset while those guys, you know, fly around on jets everywhere and tell us how vile and, you know, that we're cockroaches and shit and the planet's overpopulated and climate change and global warming is going to kill everyone. And now it's the whole sci-fi UFO fantasy, right? I mean, it just never ends. Never ends. They got their panties in a wad because nobody's paying attention to them anymore. I got an older uncle, who's a big Hollywood hotshot, and he's unrelenting in his far left mindset, and he's not actually that way. He's actually quite conservative in reality, and was raised by a pair of school teachers. And so in his rhetoric among his family and stuff, he loves theater and he loves to be on TV. You know, he's been on a lot of big name commercials during the Super Bowl and stuff like that, and done a lot of other theatrical work. He's done some minor work on Star Wars stuff, live action role play stuff. Is that what it's called? Live action television stuff. But he'll spout off their rhetoric like he believes in it. And then he's been doing it for so long. I mean, it's warped his character. He actually does believe in it. And I will get in debates with him because he's the type of guy, you know, he's only got to work 2-3 days a month, if that. The rest of the time he can just, you know, use his celebrity status on social media to toe the line and run the narrative. And that's what all of them do. You know, they're working 3 days a week, 2 hours every time, and making 10-15 million a year. It's like, come on, really? And you're talking down to the people that are doing 80 hours a week? So I wanted to get in on some of that gig, but they know I can't keep my mouth shut. They know that I'm not going to toe the line. They know that, you know, that I've got a tough mental resistance and my BS meter is too sensitive. So I couldn't bow before the great black dildo. You got to be like Hunter Biden if you want to get anywhere in life. You know, willing to choke 15-year-old hookers and suck on a glass dick. And roll up your sleeve for the photo op. Otherwise, they don't want you. If you're not willing to promote this false dichotomy of the clean versus the unclean, then you're not on board. You're ostracized from the community. The last time, that last Friday video, where I was really going bananas on the live drive jive, it's still in processing. I don't know if it's because of what you guys said out in the idea room, or if it's because the way I was just, you know, being super playful in my dissertation. They never let it out of processing. Whenever I open my app and look, it doesn't show up in my video playlist. It went from 20 views down to 3 views, even though there were 5 of you in the ideas room, and they haven't released it. So that shows you what YouTube thinks of verboten topics. That's why I wasn't willing to like debate Anthony or go against him in the rhetoric on the interview, and I can't. They've got us silenced. There's a ban on speech. You can't express your opinion. Yeah, they're not going to release it. They'll delete it. And now that I'm doing these live transmissions, I've got no record. It doesn't store a backup to my phone. So I got to get in there this weekend and tweak all of the settings and figure out a way to get this to stream to multiple platforms so that at least I've got, because I mean, it's the live archive. I'm supposed to have an archive of it. So even if they shoot it down on one platform, then I got a backup somewhere else. But you can't manage that easily on a phone. You could do it all right on the laptop. But like I said, you can run, but you can't hide. So you have to learn strategic adaptation and just figure out how to do it without trying to constantly platform jump. You know, you can go over to, you can have a presence on Rumble and BitChute and all the other ones, but once they shut you down on all of them. And if they delete and censor you, they delete and censor you everywhere. So there's no running, there's no hiding. You just got to do your thing. That's why most guys like Rex Bear over at Leak Project and Louder with Crowder, they just, once they get popular, they just go behind a paywall. And they're like, hey, just sub and pay a monthly fee, or watch what little content we put out on YouTube. So I'm just a YouTuber for now. And my platforms, like I was saying, my platforms over here in China are already in the hundreds of thousands and millions, but you can't earn money either. Even if your videos, like one of my videos got 50 million views, and I'll never see a centavo because it's all controlled by the GOV. Yeah, like my kids are going to do a song and dance show on BTV tonight. They will be, and I've been trying to get them to invite me, but they haven't done it yet, because I want to do like kung fu and do my flute. And so they'll be on national television, and it's not the first time. My kids have been on national television over here, and so have I. My entire family, in fact. We've been TV personalities for a long time. And I like the TV industry better than the movie industry. The movie industry will fuck you over something fierce and not even cut you any kind of check. At least the TV industry, you'll get decent pay for what you do. I mean, you'll never get royalties, of course, but at least they treat you nice, you know? In the movie business, you got to watch your back, man. And I went in with a crew of guys that, you know, the whole original idea was that we would watch each other's backs. And that's why Troy's team, that was the whole thing behind it. And so I went with some of the Troy's team guys, and this cannot reflect on Troy, because Troy would definitely, I've worked with him before, Troy Sanford of Troy's team as stunt coordinators. They work with the foreign talent and Jackie Chan and Jet Li and those kinds of guys. Donnie Yen or whatever his fucking English name is. But working with Troy directly, he's got you back. He's got your back. He's a very honorable guy. He's not going to let any of the BS happen. I mean, he'll help, and you could help him. So it's like a mutual thing of support and love. But I went on a couple of big movie sets, and one of the big time directors, I won't say his name, but he threatened to have me murdered because he didn't like me. And it got into an argument, and my Chinese is, you know, he didn't realize how good my Chinese is. And so I'm standing there listening to him talk all this shit and his wife talk all this shit. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Just pay me for my day's pay and I'm going to leave. And he's like, oh my God, this guy speaks Chinese. Get him out of here. And he's like, I'll have you fucking killed, you stupid foreigner. And I was like, oh God, I'm done. I'm done. And that was it. I realized right away. I mean, I know they were probably just talking shit, but they treated us like dogs. And none of the other foreign actors had my back. They just turned their backs on me. And they're like, bro, if they fuck around and want to fuck with you, then you're on your own. And they just like, they will stab you in the back. And because they want to be in the spotlight, they want to be in front of the cannon, you know? They want to get a decent part. And there are no decent parts for foreign actors. I mean, it's a market over here that is so filled with bias and prejudice that you think they're going to put I'm not going to say it. I mean, I don't want to get into the politics of it because that's my experience. And each individual will have their own experience. And I've watched Troy suffer for his art year after year, only to constantly be mitigated. And he's never been given any kind of starring role, no matter how hard he works. And he's one of the best talents in the industry. And I know I'm a pretty good talent. I'm nothing to shake a fucking stick at when it comes to being in front of a camera. But I know that you'll only ever be, I mean, the only role they'll ever put you in is Russian bad guy, German Nazi bad guy, industrialist bad guy. It's always bad guy. So there are no honorable roles. And if there are, which they're few and far between, you got to suck a lot of dick to get it, you know? So you got to have been taking it up the ass and compromising your dignity for years in order to be able to land one of those parts. And what's it worth? They're not going to pay you anything. You'll never see royalties. So it's a stupid way to live your life. That's why working as an ET, an English teacher, I can keep my dignity doing that, you know? I'm doing something worthwhile. And I got a 9-to-5 regular job where I make more money than any of those actors, you know? Well, you don't know, but I'm telling you. And but they chase the fame, they chase the adrenaline, and they love it. They're willing to risk their lives and sacrifice their dignity because they did that long ago. You know, they're like, what? Suck a dick? No problem. You know, you want one of my kidneys? Sure, take it. You know. Yeah, so I can imagine this video is not going to get much airtime. Frank Monday, why you always producing R-rated content? Why don't you make something friendly for children? Little Fish, I hope you don't let your daughter listen to me. I was thinking one day maybe how Dr. Suzanne Humphreys shows us, studies how people, what's going on out in Happy Land? I can read it a little bit now. Scurvy of the heart, maybe it takes hearts cold and dying, maybe it makes more of us cruel. Yeah, Rudolf Steiner said that in this century that scientific materialism would move towards creating a vaccine to eliminate the spiritual tendency in humankind. That is pure as puerile three-dimensional logic takes over and Ahriman in the eighth sphere, they would seek to eradicate the fanaticism of the religious tendency. Hey, Michael Boobies, who's that? Greetings and welcome to the show. I remind you, this is the live Drive Jive archive where we stream live Monday through Friday on the Drive here in Twilight Zone Old Peking, broadcasting from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon. And then on the weekends, we have started, thanks to the support from the Coast to Coast family, we have started an interview segment called the Frank Monday Channel, where I interview guests on various topics. So far, I've had OG Anthony on the show. Hi, Karen. Long time no see. I've been looking for you and thinking about you, Karen. I watched your latest video on Sacramental and St. Hope closing. Run away with the money. What's going on in the ideas room? I can't read the ideas room chat, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the morning live Drive Jive. I don't see any Michael. He must have blocked. What? Yeah, it says there's 5 people in the ideas room. Yeah, you shouldn't listen. How old is your daughter, Little Fish? Because I can't imagine like a 10, 11, 12-year-old girl listening to Frank Monday. I was raised by a sailor, so I apologize in advance. Yeah, the former mayor ran away with the money bag. That's what they do. I mean, that's the whole scam. It's all right. I mean, you're her mother. So you're in control of her education. Just say, don't believe anything Frank Monday says. Everything he says is a lie. Just kidding. It's all a form of theater and live action role play. Yeah, so my kids are going to be on the Beijing television song and dance show tonight. They watch it all the time. They love it. And so they're taking the day off from school to rehearse their dance number. I'll tape it. Every time I tape it and try to put it on YouTube, though, I get a community strike. So I'll try to do it, I don't know, innocuously, like where I'm doing commentary on it. I did that last time and they still struck it. Like I put my family's TV show where we remodeled our home here in television. It was on national TV. And they took it down. Hell, I did a food review yesterday at a Mexican restaurant and it got a copyright claim just because there was some music playing in the background that you could barely even hear. And it got a copyright claim. But you guys know that I don't do this for money anyways. I've only got 200 subs, which means that my channel has no ability to be monetized. So, I mean, copyright claims and this video isn't available for monetization. It's like, bro, my channel isn't available for monetization or whatever. Why are you threatening me with that? I don't care. You guys have never given me a single red centavo. It's called Coast to Coast AM, Karen. There's 2. There's Coast to Coast West and Coast to Coast AM. But it's the AM one where everyone goes to chat. Okay, I'll see you guys over in the coach chat. Frank Monday signing off. Into the abodes of the future. Go watch my food review. It's only got 2 views on it. I reviewed a Mexican restaurant. Let me know what kind of reviews you like. I wish I could get books here. I'd like to do book reviews. If you guys like book reviews, check out Foolish Fish. So 2 F's. Foolish Fish. He does good book reviews. Oh, I forgot to turn my headlights off. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, the vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness, he who was, is, and shall be forevermore. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send us one of your spiritual agents to guide and protect us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and a cleansing wind to disperse all intellectual dichotomy and endless human opinion. Strengthen our will and our health so that we may be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and protect our families. You guys are all in my prayers. I hope that you keep my family in your prayers. The prayers do help, definitely. As we go into this winter season, as we approach the Yuletide, may Santa rain good stuff down on your family. The only begotten Son of God, Jesus Cristo, or Yeshua, Jesus the Christ, and his beloved wife, Mary Magdalene, High Priestess of the Inner Order, so on and so forth. You guys know Cthulhu has risen. Hail the Mother Hydra and the Father Dagon, the horned ones out in the woods, and all of y'all good-looking, sexy people out in Happy Land. I will see you in the abodes of the future, as above, so below. Bye, Paul. Thanks for stopping by, man. I'll see y'all later.